Hi, Fulvio. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today on the video series that we're putting together, looking at agentic AI and AI agents. Welcome to the conversation. How are you?
Thank you, Trevor, for the invitation. I'm very happy to be part.
There's been a lot written in 2025 about agentic AI and AI agents. The vast majority has been focused on how it's impacting the traveler, how they're searching, finding hotels. A lot has been written about how it can be utilized to be helping the hotelier. The angle that hasn't been taken, and obviously we have a lot of technology partners, and so I wanted to explore whether or not, or to what degree, do AI agents and agentic AI pose an opportunity for hotel technology providers like yourselves, and how much of it does it potentially pose a threat, and how might we see the industry and that relationship between hotel brands, hoteliers, and hotel technology, how might we see that evolve? So that's what we're hoping to do through this conversation. So I'm gonna start off with a very easy question to get going. So let's look at it from the perspective of a positive angle. AI agents, agentic AI, what positive opportunities do you think that brings to the likes of Lybra and hotel tech providers?
I think that potentially, because we are still talking about something that is very high level now, we don't know exactly where we are, where we are
Yeah,
going
we're all future gazing, aren't we?
Yeah, I know that we are. Let's say there are many news information coming from different sites, from different medias about talking about this AI. But still, for let's say in terms of business, real business opportunities, I think we are very far from something that can be useful now. If we do not consider, I've seen a lot of experiments, a lot of effort to apply those new technologies like AIagents, agentic AI, in, like, let's say, marketing activities, how to market, how to improve the lead generation, all those things. If you see on LinkedIn, there are many marketers saying, if you write MCP, I will share with you my software, my job, my work, so you can replicate what I did. But it's like a game, no, it's not something solid. We are still talking about what potentially we can do if we apply this into our market. Starts to be very difficult also to understand for real now what can be very useful for the client, because I mean we sell to the clients.
Yeah.
We need to sell because we are technology providers. And when you sell something, you have something to sell. At the other side, there is something that for the customer must have value.
Yep.
And actually saying that you have an AI or agent, if you are not very specific with a real case study, it's difficult. So we are very at early stage of this story now. It's something that must be exposed and explored in a better way. But there are obviously potentially many opportunities in terms of let's say I think that's in personalization, because tourism relies on personalization, because we talk about tourism, we talk about relationships of people among different people, which is not most of the time rational, is more empathic. So and probably personalization will be something very important for this case study, even if it's something not many companies are working on this kind of new features. I've been working for a long time on these situations. And applying AI in terms of personalization now is something new.
Yep.
So we start talking about agentic AI. but if we look carefully inside it, at the end of the story, agentic AI or agents are like the way you are packaging AI.
Okay.
So it's not behind. It's not nothing different from what we did before. So because AI is something that we've been working on for years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But was difficult to provide a value proposition, a strong value proposition, because when you talk on AI, for example, predictive AI, uh, it's not easy to sell predicting AI, the idea. I mean,
Yeah.
to transfer the idea, the complexity of many thousands, millions of calculations that you do. When at the end, as result, you have a number. So you can for the client side, for the other, the counterpart,
Yeah.
for them it's not easy to understand the lot of work that there is behind this kind of technology.
I get you.
But now with the agentic AI, more probably you can package those kind of concepts in a different way,
Yeah.
and it probably will be easier to sell the idea behind the AI
I've got you.
in our industry. I'm talking for
Yes.
predictive, for obviously the other industry or other departments where AI is more, for example, virtual coaching.
Yeah.
It's easy because it's something that you can talk with the virtual coaching. So it's something that more close to an experience that you can talk with him. So it's something more reliable. It's something more practical.
Yeah.
In the other side, obviously, from predictive AI or other, because there is not generative AI, no, we have many kinds of AI.
Yeah.
And that in this case, I see an opportunity to transfer a better idea of what AI is by using those agents.
That makes a lot of sense. Is it something I want to pick up on your point that you mentioned earlier about how we're still at the early days and identifying real areas where it could have impact is still, we're still seeing where that could happen. Is it something that internally, so thinking less about externally to how it could be utilized for your clients and customers, but is it something that you guys are exploring internally within Lybra Tech to be looking at how can you be utilizing AI to make your own operations more efficient?
Yeah, sure. So we from one side we are a little bit forced
Uh-huh.
by the market to apply the new concept of AI, because as I told you before, we've been working on AI for a lot of
Yep.
time,
Yep.
and but we want to minimize the risk of having no side effects on doing this.
Yes.
In revenue management perspective, we are working on one single point, which is to simplify the relationship between what the machine or the algo says and the way it talks with the customer, so with the user.
Okay.
Because behind this, the predictive model, all the parts, not that are behind an algorithm, each part is still working, so it's still running, it's
Yep.
already running. And as I told you before, so we see AI as the new way to package all those things. They are all
Yes.
things, so we can package all things in a new way.
Got you. And that becomes easier, as you say, for people to understand. And so, whereas before it seemed like this alchemy, now it's as if people have taken off the covers and okay, now I understand it, or it's more digestible.
But
So
what
no,
is funny is the alchemy still is there, because the
yeah,
more complex is a
yeah,
system
yeah,
based on neural networks, based on the more complex methods now are black holes,
yep,
still are black holes for anyone. So you cannot let's say change the way they think, the way they make computations. It's not simple methods. No, you cannot enter and modify everything. So you are using a black box system to open, make more transparent a system that has been, let's say, perceived as a black box. It's a little bit a paradox.
It's almost like, yeah, it's almost like being able to look into. It's almost as if when you open up and look inside a car at the car engine. If it was made transparent and you could see all the working parts, you'd understand what it was doing. But most people just get in the car and drive and don't know how the car engine actually works. It just gets you from A to B. They don't question it. But now it's similar. It's, you know, you've been using AI, you've been using predictive AI for years and years and years. And yet trying to get people to trust it and understand it, there's always so many questions. I wonder if the turning point actually, and just off tangent slightly, but I wonder if the turning point was when ChatGPT came about, and suddenly, because that was something that every individual, from myself to my wife as a teacher to my children, suddenly, oh, we're using AI. You know, we understand it, we can touch it, we can feel it, we can see what it's doing for us. So this black box alchemy, just as a tipping point, suddenly became a sense of reality. Oh, this is a useful tool. And we don't question it. We just do what we do with it, and it gives us a result. The same way we used to Google search and it gave us a result, and we just went with that result. Now we're getting all kinds of information presented to us, and the challenge will be questioning where the source of that information was and was it legitimate. But that's a problem for later down the line. At least with the AI you guys have been using, it's working on good data. It's giving you the right outcomes, not some crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's the point. So we don't question because we are satisfied by the answers.
Yeah.
So it's not the system itself that let's say creates a problem to us. It's the way the system answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if the answer can be satisfying, we don't question anymore.
We don't question it, do we? Yeah.
We're happy about this, but it's our bias.
It's slightly worrying. It's a worrying trend that could occur over time, but that's a conversation for another day. Okay, let's flip the coin slightly. So if we look at the opportunities which maybe are still to be realized and identified, if we look on the flip side, and again from the perspective of hotel technology companies, do AI agents and the agentic AI movement pose a potential threat to hotel technology companies in the future?
Threat? I mean, I don't see threats. I mean, I see threats if you try now to apply in one let's say in one shot those technology without testing, without only for marketing purposes, and leaving this agentic AI, let's say, lead your company, thinking that will be great. But I think there is a lot of job you have to do behind. There's a lot of. We are quite far from this. We are quite far from this. Even in our industry, now it's very fragmented. So you have many different sources. Also, still, there is a problem in terms of integrations. There is a problem in terms of let's say that in 10 years, in 12 years, we went from on-premise systems to cloud systems in 12 years.
Yeah.
And still there are many technology providers offering on-premise solutions.
Yeah.
That, to be honest, they work very well. They have a very huge, big EBITDA if compared with others. But people are still satisfied using that kind of technology. So we are in the middle of this. The situation is much more complicated. Must be very analyzed, very deeply, no? And so, because obviously there are big tech companies I would say like Google, Amazon, they will enter into the market because they are now they can enter because they have the tools, they have the power to enter the market and be new competitors for sure. In the other side, there are big chains. I think they can do a lot because a big chain, it's easier because they can choose. They have the technology, they have the control from the top to the bottom of the processes. So for them, it will be easier to test and try to apply new agentic or new these new technologies in order to reduce the cost and be more attractive for their customers, hotels.
I did wonder, that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you, was in terms of whether we will see will we start to see a separation possibly from a technological point of view from those major groups, the large management companies, as compared to the independent hotels or smaller groups? Will we start to see a division from a technological point of view where those larger groups will look at developing a cleaner, consolidated data platform and then look to explore more of developing their own agents and agentic AI solutions on top of that, as opposed to buying ready-made, whether on-premises or cloud-based solutions doesn't really matter. I kind of envisage, we've seen one of the major groups seems to be investing quite heavily in recruiting in its data and AI team. So it feels as if that is a direction of travel that, from my perspective, would seem very logical. I can't see how that plays out later down the line, but I could see it as a direction of travel. What are your thoughts?
I think that can be one part. In the other side, behind those companies, there are funds, hedge funds.
Yeah.
So for them, they have a lot of money, but they don't want to risk.
Good point. Yeah.
So if now, I mean, it's a good time for investing in this because it can be a huge opportunity potentially.
Yep.
But it will take time now to see this difference in real terms. And the other side, the difference between the chains and the independent hotel is always there. No, we started. It's not something new. From the choose of the technology stack, they started implementing, they start testing new things. Because they have the power to do this. But in the other side, the small hotels, independent hotels, they can, let's say, they can take more risks. The decision process is linear. So therefore, from that point of sight, even there, if the problem is the cost. At the very beginning, the cost to apply those kind of technologies is very high still. It depends on which level you want to apply, but if the level we are talking about deeper level, so it would be very costly now. I don't think that will be something that can be affordable for anyone. So
that makes sense. And you're right. There has been that divide between the major brands and the independent hotels. Who's kind of wondering whether we would start to see, and that comes back to I was questioning, my question about the threats. I was wondering if, one of the threats to the hotel technology companies is that if the major brands start building on their own data platform and building these agentic AI in-house solutions, whether or not that starts to close down a particular market and everything starts to gravitate towards the independent or smaller groups. So therefore you've got more people. I mean, there's still a lot out there that need technology, we know. But I wondered if it was just consolidate. On that point as well.
It's like electric cars, the story of electric cars, no? There was like 5 years ago, if we come back to 5 years ago, was the timing of, so wow, in the future, anyone will drive an electric car with the mass market.
Yeah.
We need to invest in big companies producing those cars. After 5 years, it seems that no, they are now a little bit, things are not going as expected.
No, it's moved forward, but not at the pace that they expected it
No,
to. Yeah.
no, and probably will be the same because we need time to
Yeah.
absorb those new technologies. Because I said before, in 12 years we shifted from on-premise systems to cloud system,
Yeah.
from Excel, AI, now agentic. It's too much for one generation, and I think it needs more.
No, it's interesting. That leads me. I probably can guess some of your answer to my next question, but it leads me on nicely because I was having a conversation the other week, and a number of the management consultancy firms, large consultancy firms, McKinsey's and the like, are working with major corporates of developing, finding agentic AI businesses, and then developing that solution in house. And so, not thinking about it from hotel groups developing, but external companies that haven't yet moved into the hotel space that are ahead in developing agentic AI solutions for corporate businesses, and whether or not that they would be potential new players coming into the market. So a completely different competitor to be facing. So I'd be interested in your perspective on how realistic that might be when we take into account some of the complexities that might exist in the hotel business.
It's a very fascinating scenario, no? But still, I'm a little bit more conservative in doing this because it remembers me a little bit the metaverse. The story of the metaverse
Yeah.
4 years ago. So
Yeah, we were all buying virtual land, weren't we, to build
yeah,
our
yeah,
virtual
new
hotel?
opportunities, new companies entering this new metaverse applied to hotels. So new things, new scenarios, new startups, so new threats. But after 5 years, we don't see this.
Yeah,
I think now we are. So the imagination is great, having
absolutely.
imagination. But we have to be more. So we have to see solid performances, solid technologies behind this instead of it's a we are, it's something that is very fascinating, nice to see, nice to think,
Yeah,
but must be a real value for the client.
no, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I guess there's some risks as well. I mean, the one thing that is very obvious is that data has become, no longer the buzzword, was the buzzword, and is now just accepted as it's like the oxygen that is critical to a successful operation. It's even more critical if you're going down this route of AI because it requires the data to do anything with it. If you're going to have an AI agent, it needs data to access to then be able to do an action. So to me, and I know we've spoken on previous occasions about data and the value of data and the challenges. So to me, there is an obvious inherent risk to hoteliers if they're thinking of going down this road, and that being their data, the fragmented nature of it. But there are also some external risks as well that I've got some points I'd like to get your thoughts on in a minute. But first and foremost, just looking at in its purest sense and the risks within the hotel industry of how they currently approach data and how that will impact on the ability to really adopt an agentic AI philosophy if that was a route that a hotelier wanted to take.
Data is crucial. As you know, we have been working on this topic.
Just a bit.
7 years ago, we started building the data lake, trying to collect all the data for trying to predict the end of the story.
Yeah.
And now I think it's valuable the data, okay, because obviously now even before, but now what makes it different, I think, is also the knowledge.
Okay.
The company knowledge, because each company, for example, is not probably only in the hospitality industry, but in many industries we have a knowledge. Each company has a knowledge. The knowledge that is, if you are in the market, have been in the market since 20 years, you have a specific knowledge of that sector, which is as valuable as the data that you have.
Yeah.
Because if you combine in a system the knowledge plus the data that you have, that now makes really sense. So before was only the data, because knowledge was something that was not able, was very difficult to store the knowledge of a company, Also analyze the now it's possible. And this is something very valuable. I see a lot of value here. The risk of many companies, because now anyone is looking for this. Also, the biggest player, in like ChatGPT, others, they want to have access to this knowledge.
Sure.
Build more specific tools.
Yeah.
To reduce hallucinations, to improve the reliability.
Yeah.
So I think this will be very interesting, understanding how those companies will manage this situation. So I think that many companies will try to build their own LLM. So because they want to. I hope that we let this happen. I mean, because the risk is the opposite. That now we feel a lot of pressure from marketing, saying, no, we have to run, we have to be fast, we have to be the first to apply those technologies. And the risk that you put everything on to give all your knowledge, all your data to those big players, that you're losing in the long term in this way. So it's a very critical situation in terms of decisions. So what you want to be in the future, but it's something that the decisions they are taking now will shape your future of tomorrow.
That makes a lot of sense. Where does data security come into this? Because in my mind, we know there are various players out there that either for fun or for financial gain are looking to hack into systems. So if you're there, you've got a data lake of some, or maybe a data pond for some smaller hotels. You're building a piece of technology that is going in to analyze, investigate, and action that data. In my mind, it feels as if that's increasing a potential risk and opening a potential door just slightly ajar to maybe let unscrupulous actors access should they want to. So to me, data security sounds like would feel like not a threat to stop doing it, but be an important factor to want to consider.
Yeah, but I see this from another perspective. So if we were able to aggregate the data, it means that we were able to build, let's say, a platform that is very secure.
Yep.
Obviously, because there are many things you have to take care about. Let's say the GDPR complaints. So any piece of your hardware or system or software must be GDPR compliant. So
I was going to ask about
do
that.
all the steps in by the way. Now the things are getting harder because obviously also in the other side, so from the hacking point of view, they can rely on more technology, the easiest to access, and build virus building the way to get access into other systems that store the data. So it's a new kind. The war is at the next level. So this will be something very important to take into consideration. So because we have to be more protective on the data we are, and think that in the tourism still, I think many situations that are at risk now, still at risk because they the situation is not. There is not on the same level. Some situations are still critical, even now with the technology that actually have now are critical because they have been built in different times where there was not this kind of risk. But now I think we need to make another step to improve.
No, that makes sense. Conscious of your time, so I just want to wrap this up with one final question, if I can. Mentioned it a few times already during this. Media, event organizers. Everyone loves the new shiny gadget that promises the world. Everyone wants to do articles about it. Everyone wants to have speakers at events about it. But again, we always try and look at it from a hotelier's point of view. This time of year, people are starting to look ahead to 2026, starting early thoughts about how they're going to construct their budgets, where they're going to be investing their money. And whilst, to your point, it's interesting, it's exciting, it can get the imagination going, on the other side of the coin, it can also be confusing, it can be a distraction, and it can create hesitation when you're trying to think, well, where do I actually invest my money? Where do I take my tech stack going forward? Do I wait? Do I not invest in cloud-based solutions? Do I wait until something comes along on this agentic AI side of things? So I'd be really interested in your perspective that if you were sitting in a room or around a table with a number of general managers who are saying, right, we're having to put forward our budget, we're having to think about this tech, we're hearing all this noise that's going on, what would you be saying to them about questions they should be asking themselves and things they should be considering as they're starting to form their budgets for next year?
I will suggest to keep an eye open toward the future. It means that if you have to invest in new technology, start investing in something that is, let's say, futurable. I mean, it's API based, because for sure APIs will be at the center of the story, no? Because we talk about integrations.
Yep.
This will allow you to be ready for the next step.
Yep.
Without change everything anytime. So it's from a step-by-step approach. I will start from one step back. So saying, okay, let's start from API systems, easy to integrate, because this will allow you to make another decision in the future. If this technology will take place, we will be sure that it will bring advantages, will bring value.
Yep.
So you can implement easily these new technologies because they are based on integrations. This is my only suggestion now. For now.
Yeah. And that's probably all we can suggest at the moment, because that's what exists, isn't it? It's like otherwise you might as well just be throwing some coins and on a table at a gambling at a casino, because it would be a gamble either way, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Very much so. Brilliant. Well, look, I appreciate your time. Always enjoy talking with you. Always enjoy getting your insights. So thank you for joining us. It was a real pleasure.